Hello and welcome back to Echoes from the Realms. I am your host Talis, and here with my co-host David.
Hello.
And it has been a hot minute since we've released an episode. Sorry, I'm bad. What can I say? I'm gonna try and be better now that I have some more ideas.
We've also just been pretty busy as well, so
Yeah, that too. That too. I've been going to a lot of tournaments and other crap, personal things. So yeah, today I decided that what would be a good topic? Talking about the lore. I want to learn more about the lore. It encourages me to go out and read it, and I figured it makes the most sense to start at the beginning. So essentially, this episode is going to be me describing the beginning of the mortal realms in Age of Sigmar as we know it, to David, who has not done all of the research. He has research, he has information, but he does not have a lot of it. How much do you know about the beginnings of the mortal realms? Like, what kind of information do you know already about that?
uh well, actually I do not know much on it actually. That is one thing I just don't really know much about.
Perfect, perfect. Then yes. This should be a pretty good episode ahead then. You'll learn a lot. Oh, and another thing to mention is we do have a Discord now. So you can, I'll have the link down below. You can go ahead and join through that. And yeah, you can come, hang out, ask us questions, maybe help us with ideas and suggestions on what you want me to talk about in the new episodes. And we'll have some chats in there if you want to, just talk about AOS in general, find a community, play with people online. We'll have a thing in there for like a TTS. I'd be down to play some TTS. You just let me know. So, you have any questions or anything you want to talk about before I delve into the beginnings?
Um no, let's hit it off.
All right. So, obviously, in the beginning, there was what is known now as the world that was, which is the Warhammer Fantasy world. Because the Warhammer Fantasy that happened before Age of Sigmar, that all is completely canonical, and it's not like Age of Sigmar is a rewrite. It is the world that was happened, it got destroyed by chaos, and then this new world was made from its ashes, essentially. Because the world that was, after being destroyed, it wasn't any particular like god who recreated it to make the mortal realms. The mortal realms just kind of naturally happened because of what was remnants of the world that was kind of fused with chaos, and that kind of created what is the mortal realms essentially. And Sigma, after being quote unquote, he was defeated. He's never been defeated in battle. That is his whole thing. But he was defeated by the Chaos Gods. The world was destroyed, and he hung on to what was known as the Heart of the World, which is later named, I believe it's Malice, and it is it's just a ball of metal that hates chaos. It actively hates chaos. Not sure on the details on that, but it does. And every time Sigma wins a battle against Chaos, the ball grows larger or it shrinks if he's defeated. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself there. I'm gonna jump to the beginning real quick. Just a little snippet from the world that was that involves Sigma. Because Sigma was just a barbarian man. There's a lot of correlation, especially when you're reading the lore between Sigmar and the Emperor from 40k. Like, it is definitely like, yeah, they really did just make space Sigmars. But Sigmar is cool. He's a nicer guy. So Sigmar was a barbarian. He was gifted the Warhammer known as Galmaraz from the dwarves, and with he essentially united a bunch of barbarian clans, creating the empire, blah blah blah, and then eventually he ascended to godhood. And when he ascended to godhood, his hammer, which was also, it is the Warhammer that everything is named on, Galmaraz is the Warhammer, it ascended with him and became just the bane of chaos, essentially. Like, if it's not like a powerful chaos lord or demon or whatever, is any of the weaker minions, they just cannot handle even being in the presence of the Warhammer. So that is the base for the lore of Sigmar and the Warhammer and what happened to the old world, and kind of somewhat the creation of the new world. Because what else happened was a dragon deity, I believe it is pronounced, I want to look at it here to try to pronounce it the best I can, Dracothian, I believe, Dracothian, that sounds right. Dracothian is he's a dragon star space god thing that is just dope looking. I'll have some images on screen. He eventually, while Sigmar held on to the heart of the planet for literally billions of years, like eons past, until Dracothian saw and found Sigmar and then kind of guided him over to where the new realms, the mortal realms, were. So he could get his footing back, and then after him and Dracothian kind of made a little alliance thing, Sigmar then went around and he did a lot of stuff. I could do more into a more in-depth video talk about exactly the Age of Myth is what it is called, and the Sigmar went around and pretty much just freed a whole bunch of like really powerful, because some of the people such as like Talis and Grimnia from the old world, they lived kind of like their souls lived and kind of passed on, and it's kind of complicated. I need to go through and kind of read it again, but they don't really remember what happened in the world that was, because it was eons ago, of course. But they still, some really powerful souls got reincarnated and wasn't completely destroyed by chaos. And Sigma pretty much went around, defeated some other like minor gods and freed a lot of them, like Gorgomorka and the dwarven gods, like Grugni, who I believe is his ancestors were the ones who made the Warhammer. And Grugni, he is kind of the head guy for making the Stormcast originally. Before it was the Six Smiths, it was him first after Sigmar freed him, and made a pantheon again, just to kind of get everything in order, since chaos also exists in the mortal realms, as naturally as it would be. And that ball of metal, Malice, that hates chaos, that is Sigmarite. That is what all of the Stormcast Eternals, their weapons, their armor, it is all made from that mass of the world that was, and that iron, or that metal. And that's what Grundy and the Six Smiths, what they use to forge and reforge and make all the Stormcasts. And like I said, every time they win a battle, it grows bigger. So as long as they're winning battles, they have an infinite amount of supply of metal to continue making Stormcast Eternals.
Gotcha.
Gonna take a quick breather there.
Yeah, you're just going off, bro.
Yes, so that was the Age of Myth. And what came next wasn't great. It was known as the Age of Chaos. Now, you might be asking yourself, the Age of Chaos, that's not good. You're right, it was terrible, because essentially what happened was Chaos just came back in full force, used, before I get too deep into the Age of Chaos and the rest of this here, I need to speak on how the Mortal Realms is constructed, because it's not a planet. It is basically the spiral from Wizard 101, if you've ever played that. It is essentially the exact same concept. It is realms and fragments of a planet all connected through space from a world that was destroyed by gods billions of years ago. That is the exact same premise as Wizard 101. The exact same thing happens. It is the exact lore. So, it's 8 mortal realms. They are all made of the winds of magic. So the 8 winds of magic, each realm is associated with the winds of magic. After the old world was destroyed, they kind of isolated into that, created the realm. There are realm gates that let you travel between them. In the middle, there's a big tower with a huge realm gate that Archeon kind of controls, and he can then go to all the other 8 realms from that. But yeah, so that's how the realms kind of work. So back to the Age of Chaos. In the Age of Chaos, the demons all, they were coming out of the realms. They were attacking in full force. They were losing a lot of the realm gates, and Sigmar was not doing great. People were losing, and that is when the Warhammer, the Galmaraz, was then separated from Sigmar. They don't really know how, but something happened. He got tricked. He lost his hammer, and at that point, they were pretty well being defeated. So he went back to the realm of Azir, the heavens, where he's kind of resides over now, and locked himself away for thousands of years. I don't know how long. I believe before this point, the Stormcast Eternals were not yet created. It was during this period of thousands of years that Sigmar then essentially got with the Smiths and Grindia and made the Stormcast Eternals and spent all that time kind of preparing and getting ready to fight back against Chaos. And one of the big reasons why they also lost against Chaos was a lot of trickery was happening. Demons kind of tricked a couple of the other gods, I believe, and the Grand Alliance kind of shattered. It wasn't whole, and that kind of screwed everything over once again. But after those thousands of years, he returned. He had a Stormcast Eternals, that whole army. He made sure to get the Alliance back up and going best he could, which is, of course, the Grand Alliance. If you play the game, you can see all the factions from it. And so he then fought back against Chaos, eventually taking back a large number of the Realm Gates and kind of getting everything back to somewhat normal. I mean, Chaos is still around. They're still fighting Chaos, but, they have a lot more control. It's not everything is just, shit, essentially. So that kind of brings us up to modern day Age of Sigmar. That is, the main background of everything. Like I said, there's a lot more detail that I can go into about it at a further time when I plan more around that. But, yeah. That's how the Mortal Realms came to be. And I'm not done there. I have other things I'm going to talk about in general, but that is just kind of the base for all that info.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I mean, just some general information, things kind of about Sigmar. Sigmar himself, in the lore, there's many iterations of in the books where Sigmar directly talks to a lot of the Stormcast Eternals, and it's funny because most of the time they're extremely giddy and kind of freaking out because of course their god is talking to them. There's one instance where he puts his shoulder on the hand of one of the Stormcast and dude about loses it. But yeah, so in all of these little sections of when he's talking to the Stormcast, it's really nice because you see how humble Sigmar is as a like a person, because he was a man ascended to godhood, and unlike the Emperor in 40K, where he's kind of just this, he's very manipulative, like, and just kind of an asshole. Like, his whole thing is just like, humanity needs to win under any cost. Doesn't matter. It needs any cost. And he makes some pretty bad decisions with that. Sigmar is a very humble, good father figure. He generally sees the Stormcast and humans as his like children and his son, and he likes to present himself as a nice, welcoming father. He also is very guilty. Like, he feels very guilty about what happened. He feels like it's his fault that the world that was destroyed, and he just is not in a good way about it. Like, the Stormcast are a great invention, and armor, whatever, the whole reforging. It's a great thing, and he's very upset that he had to do it, that he had to invent that it even had to get to that point where he had to make these immortal soldiers who lose their memories whenever they die. Fragments of it. But yeah, no. So he's a much more relatable and much more active thing in the lore, which is something that I really love about AOS. Is the gods are way more active. It's not really just like a figurative thing, like it is in 40K, except for like the Chaos gods are more active. There's a lot of snippets of them kind of popping up doing stuff.
So okay, knowing that. You might not know this in depth, but so obviously the War Master for the Stormcast is Yndrasa.
Yes.
Do you know how she came to be, or like what she's all about? What is she to the whole thing?
So I don't know too much about Yndrasa, and honestly, with her being such a prominent figure, she's probably somebody I could do a whole episode on, and I probably need to look and see, because there isn't too many Age of Sigmar books, but there's at least some, and there's stuff in the codexes and things to talk about, so that might be, like, for a later episode, if there's enough on her to talk all about her, or if not, I will just talk about multiple Age of Sigmar or Stormcast Eternal kind of prominent characters.
So there's a whole book on her.
There is a whole book on her?
It's a whole book on her.
Okay, that makes sense. She was with one of the releases of the edition. So that's probably something for me to follow up on and check out that book and see what else there is going on. And we could probably talk about Dross and some of the other Stormcast Eternals at some point. But one thing I do know is that I forgot to mention is the Celestant Prime. He's an interesting character. He's a really cool model with big wings. Kind of reminds me of the Sanguinor. Yeah. He currently, I forgot to mention, during the Age of Chaos and everything that happened, and Sigmar lost his hammer. At some point after that, in like modern times or not too far back, after coming back and attacking Chaos back with his Stormcast, he regained his hammer, so he does have Galmaraz again, and he actually gave it to the Celestant Prime, who is his most trusted soldier. So the Celestant Prime currently wields the Warhammer Galmaraz.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so he's pretty dope.
There's a lot of info on him too.
Yeah, there is a theory. Oh yeah, no, there could be a whole episode about him, I'm sure. No, that's a joke. So but that actually brings up my next point, is because there's not a lot of info on him. There's a theory that he is Karl Franz from the old world, who was also Sigmar's champion and leader of the Empire, who was wielding Galmaraz, the Warhammer, back in the old world. So it's possible that the Celestant Prime is Karl Franz, but reforged into a Stormcast, and they just haven't revealed it yet.
Interesting. I don't know much about the old world, so
that's fair. I say I know. I don't know as much as I would like. I know a good amount. Especially from playing the Total War games, but then also just looking it up and whatnot on my own. But yeah, so hopefully that's what it is. Because like I said, there's a lot of other characters who have been brought back. Like Ikit Claw was in the Hamilcar Champion of the Gods book, which is a fantastic read. But yeah, no. So Ikit Claw returned, and Ikit Claw is the one who makes nukes and shit. He's the absolute crazy warpstone scientist. He is a fun character. And like Teclis, Teclis is in the new lore, but he's just he's ascended to godhood. He's one of the ones that Sigmar freed and helped ascend to godhood to create his new pantheon. So everything could kind of work all nice. And also the universe of Age of Sigmar is also called the Cosmos Arcane. And so within that, figured I might as well talk a little bit about the 8 mortal realms. So there is the realm of heavens, Azir, the realm of light. I will not pronounce all of these names correctly. I do.
It's very funny as well. Before you continue,
Yeah.
I was interested in, so I was looking at some of the Stormcast stuff, and it led me to the 8 mortal realms right as you brought that up.
That's funny.
I have them pulled up right now, actually.
Nice. I say, if you want to, speak about any of the, if you could easily find it, if you want to speak of all the residents of them, that's something. I don't know who all lives in every one of them. I can make very educated guesses on all of these, but actually, I might know who lives in all of these now that I think about it. Maybe. But do you want to try and pronounce the names?
Yeah, I can do that. So let's go to the 8 realms down. So you did the realms of the heavens, the celestial realm. Is there a certain order to it? Because
no, not particular. I just started with Azia because that's the main one.
Correct.
With all the Stormcast,
you got Akshi, the realm of fire. You might guess.
Yep.
Sheish, the realm of death. The amethyst realm. You got Gyron, the realm of life. The jade kingdoms. Hish, the realm of light. Gur, the realm of beasts. Shaman, the realm of metal. Ulgu, the realm of shadow.
Indeed. And there's also one, it's not a realm, it's like an offset realm to the side. It's Blight City. I don't know a lot about Blight City. I just know that's what the Skaven are, since from the transition.
I don't think that would.
No, I see it. Blight City. I believe. Okay, no, I'm seeing a diagram now. It's not a
that's
side
be
thing.
Yeah.
No. Surprisingly, according to this diagram, it's actually underneath Akshi in the realm of fire.
Really? Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. That I did not know. That's kind of fascinating.
So that's where they live. So the realm of fire is also where a lot of the servants of Khorne live.
That makes a lot of sense. I know the realm of metal is where the dwarves are, specifically the what are they called? The Caradon Overlords.
Could you guess the realm of death? Who lives there?
Probably Sigmar. Yeah, that's my guess. Now, Nagash with his legions of undead and vampires and everything. That is fucking awesome because I love the Grand Alliance of Death. I love every one of their factions. All 4 of them. Of course, the realm of beasts is going to be where basically anything destruction is. Orcs, giants, gargants. That's realm of beasts makes sense. I don't know about the realm of life. I'm going to assume that's where all of the
that's the Jade Kingdom. Yep, Sylvaneth. Nurgle is constantly in conflict. In there.
Might make sense.
So Nurgle is constantly attacking the
Where
Sylvaneth in that realm.
the realm of light must be where the high elves are, I bet.
Realm of Life is called 10 separate continents of the realm called the 10 Paradises. So there's 10 different continents in there. History. Let's see. Yeah, so elves, that's funny. So there's elves that live there, like elvish culture and elves live there.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently there's a lot of human architects and scholars in there as well.
Hmm.
Um, that also could have been like way back in the history, so.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, honestly, there's not a lot of info that I can see off the top
Yeah.
from just looking.
I'm a squishy or actually is where the probably the fire slayers would be with the salamanders, because that's also another thing with the lore was oh, was it, I don't think it was it might have been Grimnia. I get the names of some of them mixed up, but essentially when Sigmar freed the two elf gods, the one that made Grungni and then Grimnir, I believe, and I guess Grimnir went to go fight the Salamander Chaos Queen demon thing. Maybe it was just the Salamander Queen and nothing to do with Chaos. I don't remember, but it was in actually, I believe, and they both died. So Sigmar's like, "Cool, you killed the thing. Sorry you died." Grungni kind of got mad at him because of that. But yeah, that's what the Fire Slayers are, because he was split into shards essentially, and now the Fire Slayers like will adorn themselves with like the runes of like gold that he essentially separated into. So the more you have, the more powerful you are, because you have some of his essence with you. And they ride the salamanders now.
So some note going back to the realm of light or whatever.
Yeah.
It says down here, in notable locations, you have the Dreaming Plains, the Dreaming Tombs, Noxseed, Lunar Rest, Shadow Waste, Soothsaying Conclaves. I don't know anything about that one, but it says basically who I would assume lives there or has built shit there. Um, it says the Dreaming Plains, the Seraphon constructed geometric tower there. So I'm assuming there's Seraphon there. Um, and then there's a ton. There's like Death that lives here. Zinch lives there, or is some of their uh guys live there.
Yeah,
And there's like,
I think there's a lot of crossover between the realms, of course, but there's just some that are more prominent than others naturally.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, that one does seem to have a lot. I'm trying. I don't know which reach.
Oh, there's a lot. So
Hmm.
different. I'm in the realm of Shadow, and there's a whole thing on the Age of Myth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing I was thinking about was like going into each and every, like doing a deep dive into every realm essentially, especially since they
I
are
wouldn't mind
all.
doing that. That'd be pretty interesting, I think.
Yeah, yeah, no, most definitely, especially with them all being like different aspects of magic. It would definitely be a interesting one for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It look like the Seraphon are, yeah. I guess since they are like super pure and stuff, they also live on Azir. That makes sense. Alright, so I do want to mention one thing here. The Seraphon, when they left the world that was, they just kind of like were like, "Yo, this shit's fucked up. Let's get on our giant temple spaceships and go fly off into space." And then the Slan just kind of floated around the cosmos for a long time, just kind of being depressed. Like, man, we failed. The great plan failed. Everything sucks. Damn. And then Dracothian, like, felt their anguish throughout the cosmos, and then went to them and then was like, "Oh, weird alien beings. That's crazy." And then kind of and then he found, after finding them, he then dragged them back to Azia, and was like, "Hey, you can live here now." And then the Slann were like, "Hold up, Chaos lives here. Let's kick some ass." And then they got happy again because they were like, "We didn't fail. Fuck, this was probably a part of the great plan. This was meant to happen all along. The old world, that place sucked." Anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now they can summon the memory of the Seraphon with their minds, and then they just become real again, I guess, because magic. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, they got some crazy magic, man.
They're very powerful.
They're
very,
extremely
very
powerful. They'll be summoning meteors out of the sky and emerging from it. What, there's one story where the Seraphon like emerge from a like inch thick of water, just like spawn out of that, and then just absolutely wallop a army of chaos. And as the Chaos Lord is being beaten to death by Source warriors, the moon makes a Slann face and it like winks at him, or like smiles or something. Like, it's insane. Oh, it might have been the stars, actually. That would make more sense since they do star magic. Yeah, I love those boys. That's definitely one of the ones I want to do a full episode on sooner than later.
Yeah.
As you can tell by my amazing, great avatar, Seraphon.
Yeah. Would you say that's your favorite faction?
Most definitely. Yeah, they are my favorite faction. There are some others
Is
that
it
are
not?
actually quite high up there, that one of them just being Khorne in general, because
Corn is awesome.
they're so cool.
I love corn. That's probably
Yeah,
my favorite faction.
honestly, yeah, that's valid. Dude, hey, you know why we're better than 40k? Karanak is still in the game.
Hey.
Hey. I need my three-headed doggo.
Did they take it out of 40K?
Yep, with the new balanced data slate, they removed him from the game.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, and it's not that old. It's like an 8-year-old model. Like, it's pretty freaking new. And then like, he's in Legends now, and it's like, why?
I wonder if it's because was he like too overpowered or
No.
like nobody used him?
So the only, like, he probably wasn't bought a whole lot, but that could contribute to it. But I don't know. There's a lot of things that could have happened, honestly. But yeah, no, they just removed him. He's still in AOS. Hopefully, I would hope that remains. It sucked though, because there was like a box that you could buy with him in it, and it was like you can use it in AOS or 40k, and that was like the selling point, and now you can't. Alright, and that's going to be the end of the episode here. It's not going to be too long of one. I'm probably going to try and get a longer one in the weeks coming, hopefully next week. No promises. I'm going to do everything I can to do next week. But this one's just kind of a short, little sweet introduction, and I'll get more in depth about everything later on. Thank you for joining. Thank you for listening and enjoying I hope you enjoyed anyways, the little lore of AOS for you on this fine evening. You have anything to say to the people before we head out, Dave?
Did you do the Discord thing you said?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. No, I don't have anything to add to that.
Right on. Alright, well, have a good one, and don't forget to check out the Discord. Bye.
All right, bye.